Welcome to the Isolation Podcast, where it's one man with one focus, and that's all buckets. I am your host Ty J, and I just want to say thank you to everyone that is tuned in to the very first episode of the Isolation Podcast. I almost said Hoop Fanatic. I'm very used to saying that, but let me go ahead and get you guys acclimated with what this show is going to be about. So essentially, I'll be discussing one player per episode. I'll be locking in on their skill sets, their strengths, weaknesses, how it helps themselves, how it helps their team, and I'll chime in with my occasional opinion on what they can do to improve their game as well. Now, don't expect me to always talk about every single thing that I just named. I may lock in on, one of those few things. I may bounce around. I may talk about all of them at once. You know what I mean? So just understand that that's the basis of this podcast. So without further ado, let me go ahead and let y'all know who I'll be talking about first. I'll be talking about the GOAT tough shot maker, the GOAT skilled player. So in my opinion, there is nobody as skilled as Kobe Bryant. That's who I'll be talking about today. So let me just start out with what he brought. So the main thing that he brought to the table was his mentality. Yes, very skilled player. Yes, very dominant player at the guard position. Yes, one of the best to ever play. But the success that he endured throughout his career would not have been possible if it wasn't for the mentality that he's had growing up and throughout his life. And that mentality, we all know it as the Mamba mentality. It's something that is necessary for anybody to have. I was going to say just basketball players, but anybody, all athletes, normal people, whoever, anyone, everyone. It's the mentality of approaching everything with 110% effort. The mentality of approaching everything with wanting to be the greatest at it. With not letting these obstacles hinder your progression or stop your progression at that. That mentality is very important because in basketball, it's very easy to check yourself out of the game mentally. You might miss 2-3 straight shots that you normally make, and you're surprised that you're missing. But it's easy to check yourself out of the game because you might think, oh man, maybe I'm off tonight. Maybe I shouldn't keep shooting. Maybe I start passing, looking for my teammates more. Maybe I should be doing this more, doing that, like rebounding, playing more defense, etc. Well, you should be doing all those things, but you should never stop shooting because you may have missed those first 3 shots, but it doesn't mean you'll miss the 4th or the 5th. You know what I'm saying? So the mentality of just never giving up and always looking forward, never, what's that word I'm looking for? Never dwelling on the past. Sorry. Had to think of that word. I was not going to keep going until I figured out that word. But yeah, without dwelling on the previous play or the past, something like that, just move on and just continue to trust and believe in the work that you put in every single day. So Kobe, the greatest example of that is, his air balls against Utah and in the beginning of his career. So he shot about 4 or 5 air balls, maybe even more, throughout that game. And it was a key game for the Lakers as well. Yet, despite airballing once, twice, he just kept shooting them and he kept airballing. But the fact is, he kept shooting no matter what. And there's a clip of him being interviewed on his mentality going through those shots. And it was simply just, I got the next one. I got the next one. I'm going to make the next one. And that mentality is huge in the game because that's this type of mentality that'll push you through those days where you don't want to practice, where you don't want to put the team on your back, where you don't want to, you kind of want to take the night off in a sense. But that mentality won't let you take that night off. It's a mentality that won't let you be anything less than the greatest that you can be, that you are. So that mentality went a long way with his career, and it's inspired so many within this new generation on, the type of people that they want to be, the type of players that they want to be, the type of athletes that they want to be, the type of parent that they want to be now. So it's been really inspiring to kind of be able to understand his mindset. But we would not have been able to understand it if we didn't see it, if we did not see the passion that he displayed night in, night out, every single game while playing. If he didn't constantly try to push himself through double teams, triple teams. And these are double and triple teams that are in zone defense as well. So, early in his career, he wasn't the best shot maker outside of the paint. He was very athletic. He was, he was very raw at the same time. But once he developed his legs and his core, he was able to get those stronger and then get his shot, to be more consistent with at least hitting the rim. He was able to work on his shot. So he perfected the mid-range. He was able to stretch his game out into the three. And he wasn't the best three-point shooter by all means, but he definitely made them when they counted, for one. And for two, when he got hot, that man got hot. There was no stopping him once he got hot. He'd go off for like 7, 9, 11, 13, 15 point runs by himself. Because of when he locks in, it's very hard to get him out. He's seen more hands in his face, than anybody else that I can recall watching play. And he's made the most tough shots that I've ever seen myself. And he made it look like it was just another day in the office. He just made it seem like it was just another shot. Every tough shot that had, full big ass hands in his face, he made those shots look like regular shots, and it was all net. So for a lot of people out there, they watch the game and they want to bash the statistics. They want to bash, saying that he was a ball hog. By the way, he averaged over 5 assists a game in his career, so I don't know where the ball hog is in that. I don't even like talking stats, but I just wanted to do that for y'all, But the fact that he was labeled a ball hog made it easier for him to be a better passer to his teammates, made it easier for him to find his teammates, because he knew that label of being a ball hog was going to attract more double teams and triple teams. It was going to attract the box and one defense. It was going to attract, 2-3 zones to try to get him to take more jump shots rather than attack the paint. But, because of the work ethic that he put in with his jump shots, with his fadeaway going left or right, with his elbow jumper, baseline jumper, baseline the three, he could shoot off. He could do a pirouette. I think I pronounced that wrong, but whatever the ballerinas do when they spin in the air and they jump and stuff like that, he was able to do that, with a basketball and make that shot, So, and that was because of the fact that he always put in the work and he always understood the situation that he was in, because he was mentally locked in at all times. And he knew that, there's a lot of times when he draws the defense in, that's a dump off to Shaq. Or later on in his career, it's a dump off to Power, to Andrew Bynum. He was able to attract defenses on the wing that allowed him to be able to slide the ball over to Trevor Ariza, or Jordan Farmar, Sasha Vujicic, Vladimir Radmanovic. The list goes on. With how well he was able to find his teammates. And he's a very underrated passer at the same time, for all you that want to label him as a ball hog throughout his career. And, so that was very beneficial for his teammates and his teammates' success, because, when a lot of his teammates that won those last 2 championships with him, when they moved on to try to go to play for other teams, they ended up not having an extended careers after that because of the fact that the game got harder for them because they weren't playing with a player like Kobe. But Kobe's skill set and his mentality is what made him everything. Mostly his mentality, but the fact that he was able to improve his game each and every year in some way, shape, form, or fashion. He's developed the greatest footwork that anyone has seen. He also did extracurricular things in order to help him improve his footwork. Like he took ballerina classes, dance classes. He's done other things like he's done so much to the point where it became a meme now, to where people are like, one day, Kobe shot the ball and a photographer flashed the camera so bright that it blinded Kobe, so he spent the whole summer staring at the sun so that it wouldn't affect him again. Like stuff like that, you know what I'm saying? So that's just an idea of what he brought to the game. And if we look around now and watch the league now, there's a lot of players in this league that are definitely inspired by the way that he played and the way that he approached the game. So that's Kobe for you, you know what I'm saying, in a nutshell, pretty much. But thank you guys so much for tuning in to the very first episode of the Isolation Podcast. Stay tuned for more. In the future, I'll be talking about current players. I just wanted to start this off with the GOAT of skills, and my favorite player ever. That's what I want to start it out with. But make sure you guys go follow Hoop Fanatic Pod on Instagram and stay tuned for some more episodes on that podcast as well, which I am the host of. Make sure you go follow Heart of the City as well, and stay safe, stay blessed.